Hello, welcome to the Ideal Auto Factory. Today's video is going to be all about my overdose Galm. Courtesy of my team Crue RC Drift International, I have been basically given a overdose Galm and I get to kind of tweak it to my liking. So if you know, in the past I've actually owned a Galm before, but this time I'm doing it a little different. So keep God first, let's get into this video. If you didn't know already, I'm sponsored. The name of the team that I'm on is Crue RC Drift International. And with that team, I have been given a overdose Galm. Now, what I want to share with you is all of the quirks or personal touches that I've put on it that make it different from stock settings. So let's get over to the table and check it out. So here is the overdose Galm in the RR configuration. This is a version 2 Galm. The overdose Galm is a basically model of chassis, and then they made a version 2, and then after that they made a version 2 anti, version 2 anti plus. The version 2 actually came out in 2021, late 2020, 2021, somewhere around there. And now, well, this is where it's come to. It's one of the few chassis, if the only chassis, with cantilever suspension in the front as a stock option. And in the rear is a belt drive. So what makes this one different from the other ones? Well, to start out with, the bottom deck is produced by Club 25 RC, one of the sponsors of the team as well. And this deck is the TC style bolt pattern on a two-piece deck that is a little thicker than the overdose version. Now, the other quirk to this that stops it from being stock is the RR conversion. The motor is here instead of under here where the battery is. And the motor normally would sit there, and it does not. It is the RR version 1. There's a different version with the gearbox and everything that comes with it. I didn't want to do that, so I got the version 1 of the RR. And now, outside of that, the other piece that is not stock is where the ESC is placed. This is a custom ESC mount. It's integrated into the RR mount. And also up front, I have flipped my lower arms so that I can move the bottom location of the push rod. Other than that, it is, standard configuration, I should say. So let's dive a little deeper and start at the front. I've put spacers here, and I've also, again, I changed the position of that lower mounting position of the push rod because I wanted a almost perpendicular to the ground push rod position. And then also, same goes with the spacer. I wanted it to be kind of almost perpendicular again, just straight up linear. And then I've also added spacers to the rocker arm position. That effectively raises the actual position of the shock. So instead of it being slanted down, it's now more upward, gives a more linear stroke as well. And then I've also just increased my caster from stock because there's no caster adjustment with these stock parts on a Galm. So you can only adjust caster if you do some cutting. So that's what I did. I cut the suspension mount in the front, or the toe block in the front, the FF toe block. I took that spot, I cut it flush, and as you can see, it's not there. So that effectively pushed the lower arm more forward. So I did not only increase my caster, but I sort of increased my wheelbase too. I have taken the spacer off of here. It's molded on, but there is a spacer that usually is right there on the front knuckles. I took that off and just screwed it straight down. That gave me a more parallel or uniform front, middle, and lower arm position as it went through the compression stroke. So they're more in line with each other, taking bump steer to a milder characteristic. The last piece I believe in the front that I did was extend that lower arm. There's a very long screw in there, like 22 millimeters, and there's a bunch of spacers. And then also there's a curved arm right there, and I shaved the back end of it so that when I go all the way 90, I don't touch. And that's what's different in the front. Because this is a TC style deck, the bolt pattern shoves the slide rack a little more forward. It centers the servo, but that's a given with TC bolt pattern. Now, in the rear, again, RR, I have wrap-up necks, adjustable lower arms at a 50 millimeter length. I've adjusted my wheelbase to get my axle pretty much straight in line. Like with the shock tower, it's mimicking the shock tower almost to a perfect parallel relationship, and then that effectively lets this upper camber arm here to, kind of have a little slant, and I can't really fix that because if you look back there, in there, I'm on the most rearward hole on the rear upright. So that relationship is all good here now. And my dampers are, of course, in the front instead of in the back because I wanted them to be, again, perpendicular to the ground for a linear stroke. And then also they would be in the way, if I had them back here, of this spur gear spinning. This is a 72 tooth spur, 35 tooth pinion, a McLaren ESC. This is the MDP ESC, and this is the MDP 10.5T motor, and I am running about 26 degrees of timing. The chassis overall is really light. As a matter of fact, let's weigh it right now. So this is how much it weighs as a chassis bear. Put that around. That's the bare chassis. This is how much it weighs with a battery in it. And this is how much it weighs with the body on it. 1,309/10 grams is not a bad gig. As far as electronics goes, there is a Rev D servo, a Yokomo gyro, McLaren ESC, and motor. I painted my gyro white to stand out and basically give this another unique look as the gyro matches the wheels. I chose purple electronics instead of all black electronics because this is the color choice that I will go with if I do indeed upgrade to aluminum arms or anything of that sort. Now, as far as stiffness, the rear is really stiff. You can see when I compress down and let go, it takes a while to lift back up. I'm running 80 weight oil in the rear of these dampers, and in the front it's 20 weight. In the future, there are plans to upgrade the dampers to the HG versions, and then also make this top deck, instead of being matte, a shiny deck. The reason to change from matte to gloss is to match the lower deck. I have a 3D printed battery plate. This is from Club 25 RC as well. I'm also running a ball diff. This chassis has been a delight to grow into and learn, as I will not be changing too much because I want to understand everything that's happening as I go along. I've been driving it. It's been treating me well. I enjoy being in control, and I also like that it's simplistic. In order to change up the driving characteristics, I can't change a whole lot. There's only a minor amount of things I can change. Caster is I don't have a lot of caster adjustment. Camber is somewhat limited to how long that lower screw is, or how wide your track width is in the front. Also in the rear, there's a little bit more adjustments now. I can adjust my lower arm length. I can also adjust the camber, and then the actual wheelbase as well. There are no risers on any of these suspension mounts. They're all completely flat. And that pretty much does it for the overview of the Galm. Now I do want you all to hear this chassis roar, but first I must take the mic out. Listen to it scream. I do want to point out that I did opt to go with the no switch turn on method for my ESC. Just cleans up the wiring, and also I'm able to just unplug the battery to know that it's off. And that does it for the Overdose Galm. I want to thank you for watching today's video. If you haven't already, consider subscribing, like the video, leave a comment. You can follow my Instagram, and you can join the Discord, where there's just a community of RC drifters and just some human beings just wanting to belong. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Crue RC Drift International, for sponsoring me, and keep God first. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.